right, we have workshop 5 getting started. Let's jump to our workshop. Okay, so first of all, if you notice, I've got workshop 5, Alex Help. I've already got that up there. That's to help you with your Alex problem. There weren't that many problems this week comparatively speaking to last week. And a lot of them were kind of repeats from last week, so the video's not quite as long. Again, I recommend that you look at what topic I'm doing. You get to your topic that's the same topic. You watch my video on that portion, put my video on pause or rewatch it, and try to do yours. If there's something that you get stuck on, mark it. Come see me on our virtual class meeting on Saturdays, or send me an email, ask me to do the problem for you and send it back or something like that. But just kind of go through problem at a time, and the ones that you get stuck on, go ahead and let me help you with. All right, of course, there's an overview that Indiana Wesleyan has given you guys. That's their overview that they've done. And then, of course, your biblical application that you need to do. That's really just, honestly, it's completion credit, because you're going to do a good job. You just do a good job, and it's pretty easy. I can give you those points. All right, and then this is the one I'm going to go ahead and help you with, is the discussion algebra investigations. What is going on there? All right, for this one, it's 2 parts. And you have to make sure you do both parts. So for this one, you have to choose one from this section here of the error analysis and one from the section down here, which is points of intersection. So one thing, and it tells you, of course, what to do specifically as far as do one, and then 2 initial discussion posts, 2 separate ones, and then you're going to respond to 2 other classmates, and you're going to do a follow-up post. Make sure you get 200 words in those responses, because no reason to lose points. That it's easy to have these points. These are easy points to get. Don't lose those points. Okay, so for the first one, I'm just going to do the top one for you, just so you can get an idea of what you're supposed to do. So for this particular problem, the system of equations, is that what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to analyze each one. So I'm going to help you look at that. Okay, so for the first one, I'm going to look at this first equation, and that's 2. And that means that's where it should intersect the y-intercept, and yes, it does. So that's not a mistake. So the next part I'm going to look at is this part here, and that's 3. And so what that means is the 3 means it's going to go up 3 and then to the right 1, because the slope is 3 over 1. So from here, I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3 to the right 1, and this here should be the line. And as you can see, it definitely is not the line. The blue line is the line, and so this slope, of course, is negative, but the slope should be positive. So that's the first mistake I find. So you're going to continue doing that, and you're going to do the same thing for this equation, and you're going to look at the y-intercept, and you're going to look at the slope, and you're going to do the same thing. And obviously, since this is a different line, this solution is not going to be right, because you can see the solution 1, 1. That's where it's getting here, but this doesn't even go through 1, 1, so it's definitely going to be a different solution. So that's the other thing that you're going to change. So check to see if this is the correct line, and if it is, then you're going to find if there's a solution here, and if not, you're going to find a new solution, okay? And then that will be the mistake. So I found this mistake, and then you'll find if there's a mistake here and if there's a mistake there. And those are your... that's how you would do the first part. The second part, you're just going to use your GeoGebra, which is really easy, because all you have to do, and it says, find the solution of the graph, explain algebraically how you know the point of the intersection is the solution. So algebraically means because as x is equal to a number and y is equal to a number, so is x and y equal to the other numbers, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So let's go ahead, and I'm just going to do a random one on GeoGebra for you, and then you can solve one of the ones that you've been asked to solve. So let's just do 2x plus 3y equals, let's say, 10. And then let me do a different problem for you and let's equals 10. Let me just do 5. It's making it a little bit easier for me here. All right, and then this one I'm going to do 5x minus 4y. I'm going to say equals 1. Okay, so the first thing I would do is I'd make a nice screenshot and say, oh, here we go. Here's the solution, and the solution here is 1, 1. Now it said that you're supposed to show algebraically why that solution, why they cross as a solution. And literally what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to just put 1, 1. And I'm going to say, see, that's a solution. And I say, oh, look, it's a solution here. And that's a solution. I'm going to say the reason algebraically that it's a solution is because it works for both the red line and the green line, or equation 1 and equation 2, that while x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 1 for both of them, then obviously they're going to intersect because they have the same x and the same y. All right, and then go ahead and put your screenshot and upload your explanation, something similar to what I just said. Okay, so the next part, what you're going to do is back here. Okay, so that's 5-3. 5-4 is your topic completion in ALEKS, so make sure you have that one done. And then 5-5 is the real application. Why do you need to know this? Just trying to show you the different applications that it has in the real world. And so this is how you're going to do this. There's 4 different problems on this one. You could do involving cost or principal and interest or mixtures or rate, time, and distance. So those are 4 different types. I'm just going to show you an example here where it has, I'll show you kind of how to write this together. So what I would do if I chose this one, for number 1, I'd say Nora bought 100 shares of stock, and I'd say, okay, X equals stock or tech stock, and 200 shares of mutual fund, so Y equals mutual fund, and she spent $3,800. And then Aaron bought 300 and 50 shares of this one for $5,350. All right, so that's step 1. So the step, first of all, I would go ahead and write my equations. I'd write what my x is equal to and my y is equal to, and then second step, I'm going to write my equations. Okay, and then go ahead and it has to, then what you're going to have to do, it says choose one of the application problems from each of the 4 categories. So you have to do 1 from here, 1 from here, 1 from here, and 1 from here. So I just chose number 1 in the first one. And then you're going to, it tells you, of course, solving the 2 unknowns by setting up a system of equations. And the easiest way, honestly, is to throw it on the GeoGebra where we just were, which I'm going to show you how to do that. And then it says you're going to do a presentation. And so this, you can do all the different types of presentations. Probably the easiest one is PowerPoint. You know, you just throw it in, or Word or whatever. You just kind of just throw it into the different ones. Or, you know, PowerPoint's so nice because it sets it up for you. But I'm going to show you on the GeoGebra how this makes it really easy. So I would jump back to the GeoGebra. Remember that little link that we were just on, which is this one here. Okay, and I'm going to, let me just clear all of this stuff. All right, so I'm going to clear all this. All right, so let's just go ahead and I put in 2 equations. So I just put in 2 random equations, 100x plus 300y equals 5850, and 200x plus 50y equals 3250. I didn't want to use the exact numbers because I want you to be able to actually do the problems on your own, but I just chose ones that were kind of similar. Okay, so what I want to show you on this is to be able to get, if you hit tools here, and then you hit intersect, and touch the intersection right there. And then you go back to algebra. You're going to look here and you see where it has intersection. I did it a bunch of times. That's why you're seeing, let me show you, you're seeing 5 of them because I kept hitting it before I started recording. Anyway, here you go, 12.4 and 15.3. I used random ones. Yours are going to come out even, but basically that would mean I bought 12.4 shares of stock and 15.36 shares of mutual funds. And, or, excuse me, no, I bought 100 shares, but it's $12.41 per share of stock because that's X, and $15.34 or 36 cents for the mutual fund because that's Y. And so that's what the different X and Y stand for. So that would be the intersection. So I think that's the easiest way to solve it by graphing. Just put this in, throw it in there, do a little screenshot, and come back here. Oops, I think I'm off on this. There we go. And once you do that, go ahead and put them, it says, wants you to do the presentation, show work, not just the answers. So make sure that you show how you solve it. I just would circle it, things like that. But honestly, I think that's the quickest way for you to do so using the technology. All right, the next part that you need to make sure you do is, of course, the final exam. All right, the final exam is only 15 questions, so it's a little bit quicker than the previous, than an actual workshop. But make sure you don't get caught off guard. Start it early. You don't have to do it all in one sitting. If you get stuck, please let me know. Last but not least, the end of the course survey. The end of the course survey gives you 10 bonus points for just completing it. But I do not put those points in. That as soon as it gets submitted, Indiana Wesleyan puts them in. For some reason, if it's not putting the points in for you, of course, let me know. It's sometimes looks a little different on the student side than on my side, but if you're not sure, I can definitely check that for you. I do want to say one thing on the end of the course survey. Professors at Indiana Wesleyan University really do depend on the end of the course surveys to come back favorable. So I'm not asking for anything that's not honest at all, but what I'm asking for you to do is just make sure, I know with some surveys I've done in the past, if I just like, oh, this doesn't matter, neutral, neutral, neutral. But no, they really do take them seriously. Please do not give me or any other professor for that matter, just neutral, just because you're taking the survey quickly, because they do depend on classes and things like that based on how surveys come back. So having said that, if there's an issue that you have with me or any other professor at Indiana Wesleyan, please make sure you let us know so that we can try to remedy the situation before the first time that we know about it is on a survey. Honestly, it's very frustrating for me and others, especially in an online class, because it's so difficult for us to communicate sometimes that we do care about the student, that we do care about the person. And it doesn't translate sometimes via email or via online class. And then if a student has a complaint, the first time you hear about it is, on the survey. It does get to be frustrating. So please don't let that happen. Let me know, let other professors know ahead of time if there's issues, because we do like to remedy the situation if we can. And it's very easy to have miscommunication, especially when you don't see the professor face to face. Having said that, if there's any issues you have before the class is over, then please let me know, and I will see you guys on the virtual class on Saturday if you choose so to attend, or if you have any other questions beforehand, please let me know. All right, thanks and have a great day.